Hi, welcome to Quiltinator.com. I'm Michelle Johnson, and I would like to tell you a little bit about what I've learned from making the table and some things to consider. The first is I'm really glad we didn't ruin our table and that it worked out well. But what I didn't consider was this little ledge here. It's the support for the table, and this little ledge here. And what I should have done was do a little bit of measuring. And so I'm going to show you how to tell if something's going to be too long for you. And so what I've done is I have attached a nut to a string, something heavy enough that you're going to be able to tell if, you know, when you sit down under your chair, if it's going to hit your leg. And so you just take some Scotch tape, take your handy dandy ruler, and I needed 3.5 inches. And so I put the nut right at the on my ruler, and I measured up 3.5 inches. And then here's my tape, and then all you have to do is just tape it to the bottom. You might need to use some duct tape or something, and just see if it hits your leg, you know, if you have enough room. And that way you'll know if cutting your table legs off is right for you. And I'll show you some of the things that we've just done on the top to change things up a little bit. And I'll be right back. Okay, and I'm back. And the next thing I'd like to show you is these are what I had my table sitting on before, and it gave it even extra height. These protect your floor. So what I did was, when we chopped the legs off, this is felt, and it's got it's like a sticker. It just peels right off. So that was another, and I had already taken these off when I measured. So if you have some risers or protectors of some sort underneath your tables, you want to remove those when you take your measurements. Another thing, if you have a square table, you're probably not going to run into this problem that we did. The foam we needed to cut out was, we cut it out to the shape of my table. And so the styrofoam is everywhere, and it got everywhere. And we used a bread knife because it's serrated to cut it, and then we taped the edges of it with duct tape. And like I said, the little styrofoam stuff has gotten everywhere, and it's taken a couple of days to be able to get it. It's still, like, you know, when you sweep it, it floats it into the air, and, you know, just re-lands, and we're re-cleaning. So it's been really good to get this done. It's real nice. One of the other things is, about 10 minutes after I turned off the camera and showed you my table, the cat got on here, and I realized with the way she scratches things, it would not keep my table looking as good as it did. So I went ahead out and I bought some clear plastic vinyl that's used, you know, like to cover chairs and things for your dining room. Or anyway, I got the 20 gauge, and it's the thickest that they sold. I got enough to hang over really long on the one side because it's near the back door. I figure, you know, if somebody comes running in or something, it's not gonna rub it too much. I also cut out a hole for the needle plate just right under here, and I left a piece hanging over, but I cut out enough to where this slides right up against to the edge of the throat, and then cut out enough that it goes over the other edge and folds over. And if I need to free motion quilt, I can still put the Supreme slider over this or the Octi hoops, whichever I'm using that day. So it works out really well. Still just, covers, all of this. And if you wanted to, you could just, instead of having a Supreme slider, or you could just get another piece of the vinyl, like whatever I cut out, and just tape it over your feed dogs, and you'll have a smooth surface. But you'll have to make sure you put tape around all the edges, because you might catch the edge of your plastic. The other thing that I learned was not to wear horizontal straps when you are filming. So, lesson learned. Anybody else out there? Don't do it. I'm Michelle Johnson with Quiltinator.com, and I'm getting back to quilting. Hey guys, I'm back. I forgot to mention that I was going to put a link to Marguerite McManus's tutorial on how to make an inexpensive sewing table using a plastic adjustable table. And you're going to notice in her video that I don't use the same materials. I use this, and she uses something different. And they're both insulation, but she lives in Alaska, I live in Texas, and I don't need the same amount of insulation that she does at her house. So my home store doesn't have it available what she used. So depending on where you live, your home store is going to be the determining factor in what is available at your home store. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, just send me a message, or you can post down at the bottom. I'm Michelle Johnson, and I'm getting back to quilting.